Bonjour à tous, c'est Sonia Rano, Grenoble Indian Film Festival, Indian Cinema Events. Aujourd'hui, nous avons un autre court-métrage qui nous vient de l'Inde, bien sûr, et ce court-métrage est donc réalisé par Tejas Sonawane et qui est donc bon, réalisateur, cinéaste, mais aussi le scénariste. Euh, pour vous dire quelque chose sur sa bio, je peux vous dire qu'il a travaillé 10 ans dans cette industrie du cinéma de Bollywood. Il est diplômé de Westling Woods, donc c'est un institut qui avait été créé par le cinéaste Sauvage Gray. Je vous ai déjà parlé, Pratham Khurana, qui a été à la CINEF à Cannes, a aussi fait Whistling Woods, donc très connu à Bombay, bien sûr. Il a notamment travaillé sur Tumbad, qui a été en 2018 un film qui a été acclamé au niveau international et qui a fait un parcours dans plusieurs festivals. Ensuite, il y a eu Amrika, qui a aussi a été lauréat du prix du public à Sundance, donc des festivals assez prestigieux, bien sûr, et donc une série d'espionnage qui s'appelait Mukbir. Donc, et il a fait ses débuts en tant que réalisateur avec donc ce film qui s'appelle Gunta en 2017. Ce court-métrage a été reçu au Festival du court-métrage en plein air de Grenoble. Et c'est nous qui avons fait, donc, bien sûr, les sous-titres en français. Une expérience très intéressante pour nous aussi, d'avoir fait les sous-titres. Vous verrez que c'est un film plein d'humour, plein de sensibilité euh, et quelque chose d'unique. Si vous avez vu Sœur, Monsieur de Rowena Gera, vous verrez qu'il y a peut-être quelques similitudes, mais ce sont deux films qui nous touchent et vous verrez que ce court-métrage est absolument à découvrir. Donc, quelle est son actualité? Aujourd'hui, c'est-à-dire qu'au mois de mars, en mars va sortir The Diplomat avec John Abraham et notre réalisateur est réalisateur associé sur ce film-là. Il développe également d'autres scénarios très intéressants à venir. Donc, il est en train de travailler plusieurs longs métrages, etc. Pour ce court métrage, ne pas oublier aussi que les acteurs sont formidables, très, très drôles, très, très bien. Et nous avons la comédienne Rajshri Deshpande dans ce film, dans ce court métrage, Gunta, et vous verrez que Rajshri, vous l'avez vu dans Les déesses indiennes en colère de Pannaline. Donc voilà, vous l'avez aussi vu dans Manto de Nandetadas, c'est une comédienne excellente et qui est dans ce petit court-métrage, donc très drôle, très touchant, merveilleux, magnifique. Je vais maintenant passer en anglais pour poser quelques questions à notre cinéaste. Thank you so much for giving us your film and for being with us. I'm so
Pleasure.
happy.
Thank you so much for remembering the film after so many years. And I was really touched when you were saying that you want to present it again at your festival. I was
It was
really
such a
fan.
wonderful
So
moment
thank you
to
so
watch
much.
this. It was funny. It was left us with so many good feelings and so clever in the way you treated you know humor, comedy, um, the empathy, the relationship. So intelligent, so smart the way you've shown it and the way you treated it.
Thank you so much. This is, I think, the situation kind of lent itself to all these elements. Uh, it was it was a very weird situation. I had always thought back in the day, we've all had servants and we've all uh, have seen how they get treated. And I always thought that I will be different. I will be not like this. But when I eventually ended up getting help, I was no different. And the flip side to it was that there were times when I was lenient, and when I was lenient, he was not able to handle that freedom as well. So somewhere he was also not responsible for the leniency that I was provided. So it was very funny that both of us were not able to come out of this,
The cliches and the
this
structure.
world of classism that we all, the cliches of, yeah. And we all tried, but they were always, always ended up arguing, always ended up, feeling betrayed by the other. So that I thought was very fun.
True. And then we're taking things maybe a bit too seriously, uh, when there's moments where you do have to let go, and what can you expect? I mean, they can't be in our heads, and we're learning to live on a daily basis with somebody. And these relationships, there's what we live, but then there's the way you show it. How did you come about
Yeah.
getting these actors to be so close to what really happens? Because we're feeling for them, we're there with them, but then it's looking so right, in the way they've portrayed these characters.
So Gurpreet was actually my house help. He worked in my house, and he used to often tell me, that scene is there in Gunta where he says, कि, "भैया मुझे कुछ role दे दो." So he used to come to me every alternate day and say, कि, "भैया कुछ तो दे दो, driver का role दे दो, इसका role दे दो." Then I always used to brush him off, "Okay, काम कर, काम कर." So then, like I told you, there was a phase in my life where nothing was happening. So I thought, why not just, take this actor and I'll just shoot a few scenes with him and I'll direct him, and that will be my practice in direction. So I started rehearsal. I wrote this film, and it actually came out. I was quite happy with the script. So then I thought, why do it as a exercise? I'll just make a proper short film out of it. So I started getting people on board. Uh, Ashish was actually, I mean, thank God for that. He was actually a last minute cast. Somebody else was supposed to do Rahi's character, and I rehearsed with that person, and I just knew that this person is not getting the humor, and this person is just not getting the world of the film. So I told him that it's not working out. And then a friend of mine suggested that there is this actor called Ashish Verma, and I had seen Ashish Verma's show. It's called Not Fit. I'd
Mm,
seen that show, and I thought he's really funny in it. And the humor is also kind of similar. It was very low key and not fit as well. So I immediately got really excited on the idea of getting. So I got in touch with Ashish, and thankfully he was doing Bhavesh Joshi that time. So then I was rehearsing with Gurpreet for 3 months, and when Ashish came and they just read the line once, and I was like, this is just perfect. I
right.
just rehearsed with him once, and
Mm.
they just knew what they had to do. You know? And on the shoot also, I think it was just a cakewalk. That's what happens when you just get the right people in a room together. I think that's a big lesson, and that's something that I hope happens in every film that I.
Thing is that there's also the lines. There's also, you come into a film, it's a short film, it doesn't matter. It's the
Do.
lines. It's how you've created and what you've written in your characters that also fits. The people can be good actors, but then there's also your
Do.
writing work. Was it long to write? And the simplest of things are the hardest to write. And humor is very hard to
Yeah.
write.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't take me very long to write because I was living the situation. Like the most of the scenes that you see in the film are the scenes that have happened between, like I said, me and Gurpreet, where I'm trying to boss him around, or he's taking sort of ignoring my supervision and doing whatever he wants to. So I knew the world of the film quite closely. So it took me, I think, 10 days to write it.
Mm,
Uh, but when I started writing it, I didn't actually know what the film is. It is slightly complicated. I only arrived at what the film is during when I started writing that scene where they're both drinking, and then
mm.
Gurpreet is saying, I want to do something for I also want my parents to be proud of. That is when I knew what this film is about. Because that had happened, that scene had happened And while it was happening, I felt something, but I couldn't really pinpoint at what the feeling is that I'm feeling. It's only when I wrote it on paper and when I read uh, the scenes before that is when I realized what this film is. And other struggle was that I didn't know how to end the film. So the ending is also something that just happened on the day of the shoot. I had three, four different endings. I don't remember what those were. Uh, but out of all the endings, this just I thought was the funniest. So that's what I
Yeah.
went with.
Yeah, you've kept it fresh, and you haven't made a tragedy out of it. And there's no resentment and toxicity and violence, and a lot is said, a lot is understood about these relationships, which come from our caste system and the class division and all these things which you are even there today. And at the
Yeah,
same time, like I was saying, with humor, you can get across so many more messages to people and
right,
get them
right,
thinking, uh,
absolutely.
instead of having something violent or serious or tragic, or because we can always go into that direction. But humor is
Yeah,
special. Then you got to know how to handle humor too, and
yeah,
you're subtle. You know.
yeah. So I honestly feel that you can tell much more about a person through the smaller things that he does in the day rather than I mean I would let's say a person commits a murder. Uh, I think you would know much more about his how who that person is through the small things that he does, how he speaks to the waiter, how he's speaking to his mother, how is he answering his phone. I find that a lot more revealing about what the person is than the bigger things. The bigger things don't excite me a lot. It's the smaller things, and it's just these two characters. I think the humor lands because I used to find myself so helpless in dealing with him sometimes, and he also used to get frustrated with me a lot of times. So we're just two people struggling with each other, and we are not friends, we are not family, we are not exactly uh, boss and servant also. I mean, the relationship was not like that. It was a very, I can't really pinpoint what the relationship was. But
Mm,
what excited me was that there was a coziness in it, which he also enjoyed and I also enjoyed. Because uh, you're working and you're struggling. When you come back home, you need somebody to talk to. You need,
yeah. Yeah.
you need it was a I would call it a companionship rather than anything else.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
No, it's
that
important.
yeah, and the humor largely comes from just just who he was, Like literally the first time I met him, he told the only question that he had is that if he can keep this hairstyle. That's the only question. I'm meeting him for the first time. He's going to come and start living with me from the next day. And the only thing was, I
So
hope you
it's
don't have a problem with
true.
my hairstyle. I like to, be stylish. So I was like, yeah, fine. You can keep it as long as
This
you're
was
doing your job.
wonderful. This was
Yeah.
wonderful. And then obviously
Yeah.
the cooking moment was with all the coughing
Oh
and the
yeah.
chilies. Did you have to like shoot
Yeah.
it several times? Because this was funny. I mean, it was so funny.
Yeah, I think we took some 7 takes, but I think I kept the first take. I think the first take was perfect. And the room was actually and hats off to Ashish. When he was putting all the chilies, it was actually very stuffy in there. And Ashish ended up coughing, but I kept it because it seemed natural. And then he added it himself, the line that, yeah, Mirchi kam dalna. That's nice. And I
So
also find two people cooking together very uh, I think very intimate.
no, but look, because
So
this
that's why
this
I
well, I mean, these are the moments also again where it can be funny or sharing things. We during the festival have a Indian cuisine workshop, And so right in the middle of
Mhm.
the Indian cuisine workshop, we have these funny moments. It's we laugh and we joke, and
Mm,
maybe people are,
mm,
also maybe having a drink, and but
mm,
it's the communion of us all getting together and doing stuff which before COVID was our normal life, and before social media was all our normal life, because we'd never had anything else. But today is
uh,
that where we've gone
mm,
onto our phones, our computers, onto other things, whereas
mm,
these moments where we share things are
mm,
crucial
mm.
for us. We grow, we feel.
Absolutely,
It's so important.
absolutely.
What did your friends,
Yeah.
what did people think when? How did Grenoble react to the film?
How
What did
did
they
who?
say when it went to the festival?
I didn't hear back from them after the festival was done. I think you texted me saying that it was very well received and people were laughing in the theaters.
Yes,
And yeah, I think I did get a mail from them that they thanked me for, making the. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't exactly remember what they said because it was 7 years back.
because Grenoble is a
But
very old, one of France's oldest festivals. A lot of
I
important
didn't know about.
filmmakers have come out of
Hmm,
here, have come out.
wow,
One of the oldest film festivals. A lot of the important filmmakers have shown their works here, like Mathieu Kassovitz.
wow. Oh,
Mathieu Kassovitz, La Haine. La
wow.
Haine,
It was filmed
when
in.
yeah, and these people when they were beginning, etc.
Oh,
It's got a reputation of doing all of that. Now I think that maybe they need to work a little bit more on the international side of their website, and getting across to more people and their communications. But in France, they're really well known, and it's nice in summer
wow.
outside on the place, a bit like
Hmm,
Locarno,
hmm,
to be watching these
hmm,
films. Because we all have
wow.
memories of watching films. I don't know in India, but you
Hmm,
have also cinema de la plage, cinema on the beach,
hmm, hmm,
watching films outside, sitting somewhere in a playground in India as kids. So all of this is another way of also, having festivals, the communion, the people sharing these moments, all of this, the laughter of a whole square all together. These are
wow.
wonderful. These are wonderful moments for any festival, for sure. And when people in India got to see the film, what was their reaction?
A lot of people did get it. Uh, a lot of people didn't get what the film was about, but they really enjoyed the scenes.
Ah,
I think the person who and one reaction which I really uh, was not expecting is people having different reactions to it.
ah,
Because it is left open-ended, because it is more of an observational film. It was very interesting to see people reacting to it differently. So when my mother saw the film for the first time, she really felt for Rahi. She
mm,
felt this servant is taking advantage of this, guy, and because she saw me in that thing. When somebody who's a little more liberal saw the film, she thought Rahi is a villain
mm.
because you are not, because you've kept, uh, because you are not dealing in broad strokes. A lot of things are open to interpretation.
Right, right.
Yeah, uh,
Plus,
but
society's
largely,
evolved. Society's evolved. People in their 50s don't see servants the same way as
absolutely,
people who were in their 20s. The rapport to
yeah,
people have changed, all of that.
exactly. And but one thing people did tell me after seeing it that they wish they could see more of it. So I took that as a compliment. They wish
Ah,
that they could see them together more. That what happens after this? How what happens with Gurpreet and Rahi after this? So this is one thing that I got. Yeah, khatam ho gaya. I thought we're gonna see more of it, and they were actually looking forward to it. So I take that as a compliment.
oh, totally. But
You
I would have
know?
loved to have had this as a feature, you know.
Yeah.
But even
So
even uh, even
yeah.
as a
So
road movie or a feature, to
mm,
see these relationships, because
right.
we've seen the father daughter, with Deepika and Amitabh Bachchan, and that story, Irfan, the you know, the journey, and also the interactions, the difficulties, the ups and downs. But it is true that um, you know, maids, servants, this is something that is part of our daily lives. And
It
there's
is.
things
It
that
is.
we do not know about their lives, the things that we ignore about their lives, and they come from
Yeah.
far away, you know.
They do, and it's also very interesting how this situation has just not erupted into something, disastrous. It's so it's very surprising to me how on a daily basis we are interacting with each other and we are not killing each other. We somehow managed we somehow managed to diffuse the situation in some way, which I find is something so incredible about India.
Yeah.
So this is just one portion of that where people of different classes how they mingle with each other.
Right,
So that is very one small aspect of it.
because I'm just putting one example. Mum had a school in India when we were kids, and then
Mm,
the boys wouldn't be like, she was, for her the boys wouldn't be bothered
mm,
if it was an important day, if it was the annual function. If they weren't there, they weren't there. And for her,
yeah.
it was beyond her, because the kids could not, when it was 8 o'clock and the gates were closed, nobody would come in. You could be the minister's son, she wouldn't let you come in. So with the Bais, she was like, an ocean of patience. And it was them running the show, you know, it was them saying, okay, well, no, when do you want to come, and how should we, you know, treat you, and do things, because we had to adapt to them, which was funny in a way, but
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And which
And
goes,
then,
which also goes on to show that you actually need. It's such uh, a dependent relationship where both the people are so dependent on each other that there is
true,
no other option but to be patient, to be understanding,
there's no choice, huh?
and yeah, there's no choice.
There's
You
no
can't
choice.
you can't not have a servant in India. You can't not have help in India. You have to be patient. That's not other. But it's hilarious to see some people just like your mom who are very strict and who are very uh, particular about their things suddenly just drop their guard and just be more
Yeah.
patient
And then
because they don't
they
want
would
to do the
make her
work
laugh. They'd make her
themselves.
laugh because they'd mock her accent, her Hindi accent. And then that would just, you know, that would just crash all the anger on
See,
frustration.
exactly. See, this is what I mean. It's so interesting. The
Yeah,
dynamics in
we
India.
lived this.
So
We
interesting.
lived this situation at home, where they would
Every
pack their
day.
bags and they would want to leave and go away, and then
Hmm.
they would come back
Right.
2 minutes
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
You know?
So many times, yeah. My mother and I've seen mothers of friends just have like a all-out argument and fight with their mates. But the next day, they just come like nothing has happened.
Nothing
She
happens.
just leaves and
Exactly.
like nothing has happened. We're not gonna address it. We're not gonna talk about it. So you said certain things, I said certain things. They just keep it unsaid and just go ahead with our lives.
But
I
it
find
leaves
that is
us,
hilarious.
exactly. But it leaves us with this still good feeling of, okay, now it's
Yeah.
another day and let's start afresh.
Mm,
And so
right.
that's what's
Right.
positive in the thing. I think it's
Mm,
interesting, it's not toxic,
mm,
it's fresh, and at the same time we there's no choice. So these are
right.
interactions and relationships where there's no choice. Now I have to absolutely move on to a quick question about, it's not like you're just beginning, or you were a student with 10 years of professional work with the industry. It's a long span of time, with very interesting projects that have been to Sundance, projects that I'm missing out. The other project, the other film, I think Venice, was it
Good
Tumbat,
part.
was it Venice?
Yeah, yeah, Venice.
Venice. So
Venice.
these Tumbat
Yeah,
made a big noise, huh? It made a
it
big
did. It did.
noise.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you pronounce it Umrika or Umrika?
America, America,
America,
America.
America.
So it's
Um,
America,
yes.
but
Okay.
how
Indian. Okay.
it is said in Hindi. America.
Right. Right. And so this, who directed this? Remind me.
America was directed by Prashant Nair. It's
right,
produced by Swati Shetty and is
right,
directed by Prashant Nair. That was my actually
right.
my first project right off film school, only because the first project that I did.
So Whistling Woods, and then here
Yeah.
you do this film here. So Sundance, these are big projects, big important films, having been to these important festivals. So you're coming with all that baggage as a filmmaker, writer, coming into your short film, 2017.
Yeah.
And then you continuing, obviously then COVID comes, and then straight after that you're continuing, you're writing other things, and you've got other big projects that you work on. Just tell us a little bit about what happens after 2017 and this film.
After 2017, I just decided that I'm gonna write. So I started working with a writer. I developed a couple of shows. That is when I met the director that I'm working with currently, Mr. Shivam Nair. So Mr. Shivam Nair was making a series called Mukbir for Z5. So he needed an associate director. Now I didn't have a lot of on-set experience till that point, but he was very clear that he wants somebody who is more creatively inclined and who can write. That is how I got that gig. And so I've been working with him since. Uh, we recently finished a film called The Diplomat, which is coming out on 7th of March.
Say that
It
again.
has,
Say that again. So it's The Diplomat.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's called The Diplomat. Yeah,
John Abraham.
starring John Abraham and
Big
Sadia Katib.
project, huh? Big project. So this is coming out to cinema
Yeah,
halls early March.
yeah, it's coming. It's released in theater on the 7th of March,
Wow.
and really looking forward to it. It's a film that we are all very proud of.
What has
And
been the
apart
response?
from that, I
Trailer? Sorry, the trailer, etc.
trailer
What's been
the
the
response
response?
has been really good. People are really hoping that this is just one of those films where the story takes the driver's seat. And yes, it is a patriotic film, but uh, it is the right kind of patriotic film. It is a film which is not jingoistic in any way. And it is a film that follows its character and it stays true to the story as much as it can uh, to the real incident. So that is a feeling that people got after watching the trailer, and the buzz is good. They're
We're
really
not
looking
always
forward
used
to
to
it.
seeing we're not always used to seeing John Abraham in different films from the classic Bollywood. But even if it started off, I mean, there was Water and there was a couple of other films. So it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
It's good to also explore other aspects of actors.
absolutely. And he's really known, and rightly so. He's known for his action because he's so good at it. But Diplomat hardly has any action. Diplomat is purely thriller. He's known for his body. He's known for his aura, but he's not removing his shirt. He's not doing any of that in the Diplomat. It's purely a performance-based film, and which I feel is a very brave move on his part to, accept and completely adhere to the story and not try to change it one bit. And we see that in the film releases.
But
So
with
it's
this process, you do see with other actors as well. For example, with Sher Shah
right.
and with I'm forgetting his name, Siddharth, Sid.
So
In
that's
Sher, there
the
was a before Sher Shah and there was an after Sher Shah. And when you
right.
get the essence of what you need from an actor, because that is the definition of the actor, of being able to mold this person into the character and
Absolutely.
see the person exactly as you want to see the person, fitting
Right, right.
rightly in what you need. It's a difficult exercise, no?
It's difficult, but it's also magical at the same time when that
Right,
happens.
right.
And when mainstream people take these bold steps to move away from what they're known for and really try to do something different, I think it's a magical moment. And I'm very happy that there are actors that we have that are trying to do that.
But not everybody has the
Because
talent to be able to get them to give this. It's you need to bring it out, no?
you need to bring it out also, and it's also and it's the relationship between the star and the audience. Uh, a lot of the stars have to keep that in mind. You know, they have to stay faithful to what they're delivering to their audience. So these people who have been in the industry for 20, 20 years, John has been in the industry for 22 years. He has a certain, following. And one very interesting thing that he had said was that his career is based on the films that have not worked. So be it a
Mm,
Madras, so people love him in Madras Cafe, people love him in Romeo or Walter, people
right,
love him in all these kind of side
right,
projects
right,
where he's not really doing a lot of action, and the films have necessarily not done very well, but he's known for them.
right,
So that's why
right.
he has a very loyal base of fans who are willing to uh, go ahead and see his films if they feel that he's doing something different.
Right, right.
That's something that he has earned. And yeah, you're right. Not a lot of people do that. Lot of, uh, but thankfully, uh, you know, he does.
No, but
Good,
also
good for
this is the way
us.
the industry works, because what
It
happens
does.
is that people are easily misled and tempted by what is going to pay the bills. And what is going to pay the bills is something so crucial for everybody. So people are like falling into that trap, right? And then you say, okay, this is maybe easier money. Okay, easier. We're not, I'm not uh, torturing myself. I'm not doing something which could harm my career, my image, or whatnot. This feels
Mm.
safe. And all of us are in our comfort zone now.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that people are really afraid to uh, let go of their audiences. I mean, if there is a if there's a film that might affect their star power, or if it might affect their popularity, they will not go ahead with it. But and that's a that you know this it's a curse. It's a curse for filmmakers because
Right.
that's one of the reasons why we end up making similar films. We end up making films that uh, always has a very similar uh, uh, a very similar structure, a very similar feeling
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it, and that's one of the reasons why Hindi films have not been doing so well lately.
Right.
I think if all the people who are in power, if they decide that they truly want to give something different to the people, then only it might change. And it's not going to be easy because the Hindi film audience is not very forgiving. You know,
Right.
they
Right.
are they're not very necessarily open to change. But till the time you don't sacrifice what you have, it's not gonna happen. That's why it's a difficult journey. But everybody is doing their bit whenever they can. So small
Right.
circle. And John sir especially is has been doing that, and thankfully a lot of uh, filmmakers have benefited from.
Right. Very interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I hope France will get to see the film,
yeah, I hope
but
so. I hope so. Is
will
it
be
releasing in France
interesting.
by the way?
I will let you know. I will let you know.
Okay.
Very, very often we know a little last minute
Okay.
because of deals and everything coming up a little last minute because there's so many releases around the world. Huh? So we'll let you know in any case. But it is true that taking an actor and taking him and pushing the talent capacity to explore another aspect is so interesting. It's so interesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good, good, good. So I'm so happy to see your journey. I'm so happy to see your journey from when we met and when the festival
I'm happy to
contacted
see
me.
you. I think this is the first time
You
we're
seeing
actually.
me shouting and fighting and for justice on every social media. See, even
Yeah.
me, the real person, is also angered. I'm always angry with everything. No, because we need this help, and filmmakers need the help. And you can't spoil your relationships with everybody, but I can. It doesn't matter because they don't listen to me. They don't care. So it doesn't change anything. So I'm shouting and fighting in my corner. And they say, well, let her blabber, let her say her stuff. But if you say anything, India still is a dangerous place for people speaking up. So in any case, yeah, and the industry is a little sensitive and careful about, now that we've also had the propaganda films, and we've had a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and people are a little cautious, but we're not forgetting that we're also going towards the end of the term of the government, hopefully, which then, is maybe giving hope to other people and saying, okay, well, we need to, pass over to something maybe a bit more liberal, not attached with so much with extremism, discrimination, all of that. So films like this are refreshing because they break away from the typical stuff, and the cliches, and what keeps us locked with tradition and conservatism and all of that. So it's very, very good and very interesting. Really, really interesting. Question: did you send
Thank you.
Gunta to other film festivals before sending it to Grenoble?
Uh, yeah, I had
Grenoble
sent
is
it to a
summer.
few. Uh,
Grenoble is summer.
I had sent it to a few other festivals. Not very well-known festivals because I think all the popular festivals had their short-term section limit as 20 minutes. So automatically, Gunta didn't fit into a lot
Right.
of the other festivals that I wanted to target. But there were other festivals. I don't exactly remember names that had the limit up to 40 minutes. So
Ah,
whichever festival had the limit up to 40 minutes, I used to send it to Gunta. That's the only option that I
ah,
had.
right,
Yeah,
right, right. Good. Good, good, good. So this is another opportunity for people to get to see your work with
yeah.
something that comes from you, that is
Mm.
a story that's been personal to you, that experience that you've lived and you want to share, which is a fun, a comedy, a you know, empathy, a nice relationship, and everything about human relationships, which are so interesting to all of us. Huh? Thank you so much for giving us your film. I'm
Thank you
telling
so much for
everybody they
remembering it.
absolutely must go watch it online.
Thank, thank you so much, Sonia. It's great seeing you.
Lovely seeing you, and keep doing beautiful stuff. And we hope to
Well,
interview all of you and also John Abraham before the release.
sure.
Wishing you lots of luck,
Thank you.
all of you.
Thank you so much. And all the best with the festival. And I will be watching all the things for sure.
Yeah, and one day maybe in Grenoble
So, yeah, sure.
or in
Let's
Cannes.
hope so. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
You know,
Yeah,
take care.
absolutely.
Bye.
You too, you too. Thank you so much again.